So, amongst the many people who inserted themselves into Kylie's case, either while Kiely was missing or after she was found, were your two Jane Does who called in to content creators with their own story about the party. So for this video, I'm going to look at Jane Doe number 1. I have edited the audio back up to a more listenable pitch, because I don't know about you guys, but I can't handle listening to audio when it's been altered down to that really low gravelly pitch. I just find that painful to listen to. Of course, the problem with having audio that's been edited down to disguise the voice and then re-edited to get rid of the gravelly sound is that it is a bit echoey. So I apologise for that. I did have a fiddle. I've run it through a few different programs, but it's really hard with the programs I've got and the skills I've got to try and get rid of the echo without losing the audio of the voice. So bear with me. Hopefully you can still follow.
Yeah, of course. I don't mind at all. I'm at a golf tournament in Nevada right now, so it might be a little bit loud. I was at the party and it was my first one. I was only there from like 10:30 until 11 because my friend had a soccer tournament in the morning and we were only juniors at the time, so it was more like a senior party and we didn't have like that many senior friends.
So I just want to highlight the time frame that she's mentioned here. She said that she was at the party for half an hour, from roughly 10:30 till 11 o'clock. That's a really brief time to be at a party, but hey, apparently she was younger, so who knows. So she's saying that her friend had soccer in the morning and that the reason that the audio was loud was that she was at a golf tournament. So it sounds like a sporty kid who possibly wasn't into the party scene. That is, if this is a legitimate person.
I did know Kiely. She went to Forest Charter with me, and she was amazing. You know, she definitely hung out with a lot of druggies, I guess you could say. They were always stoned. Don't know if she was, because I never really talked to her. She loved music class. That's really all I know about her.
So she says she knows Kiely, but what she means is she knows of Kiely. It's interesting that on one hand, she says that Kiely hung out with a lot of stoners, but she didn't know if Kiely was a stoner herself because she never spoke to her. So how does she know that Kiely's friends were stoners? I just find it a little bit interesting that this is the first thing this kid has come out with, talking about Kiely. I know her from school. I've never spoken to her, but she hung out with a bunch of stoners, but I don't know if she was a stoner because I've never spoken to her. Okay, I know sometimes teenagers can be a little bit confusing and sometimes their logic isn't quite that well formed, but no, we know that Mags did apparently like to partake of various party treats, should we say. I just don't know about what this kid is saying. Is she saying something that is hearsay, something that she's heard older kids say? Or is she saying something from something she herself has witnessed? As a younger kid who is apparently all into sporty stuff and who clearly was a little bit sheltered and spent half an hour at the party, would she even recognise what a stoner is like? Just wondering, because I know, and obviously it's a very different time, but I know when I was a high school kid, I would have been a little bit more naive and possibly wouldn't have recognised when older kids had been doing stuff they shouldn't have been.
I didn't hang out with her that much.
Straight up, this makes me want to question everything else that this child is saying. Because she starts out with saying that she knows of Kiely from her school, but that she'd never actually spoken to Kiely. She's like saying, oh, she used to hang out with stoners, but I don't know about her because I've never spoken to her. And now she's like, I never hung out with her that much. So either you know her and you hang out with her and never spoke to her, or you're lying about ever hung out with her because you're saying you've never spoken to her.
I'd say there were like, if I had to guess, like 200 people there, but I don't know because I left really early. And I was there and I did see Kiely right before I left. I was like walking towards the car and I was with my friends. One of my senior friends who's a guy, like he was with me the whole time. I was basically just clinging onto him because I was like scared to death because it was my first party and there were like a lot of people that I didn't know. And then I was with one of my other junior friends, the one who had soccer practice in the morning. And then one of my other senior friends, like the girl's older sister. And she drank a little bit. There was a lot of drinking there. I didn't drink anything because I'm a Christian.
So this girl was there for half an hour, remember. She's saying she saw Kiely just before she left. So within that half an hour, she's not saying that she saw Kiely for that whole half hour. She saw her just before she left. And she's saying, yeah, she was drinking a little bit. How much is a little bit? In what period of time is that drinking a little bit? Because to me, it's a bit of a weird judgment to be able to make when you were at a party by your own admission for half an hour and you only saw this person just before you left, meaning that you weren't observing them for the full half hour. So how much can you actually say that she was drinking? Just a question. I mean, we know from the autopsy that Kiely had minimal or no alcohol in her system. Just something doesn't quite fit right here. I'm wondering if this kid was at the party, if maybe this is a younger sibling, because she mentioned that something about an older sibling of someone. Is this a younger sibling who's heard people talking about the party and wants to be in on the action? Or is this someone who's been put up to making a call? Or is this a kid who was there for half an hour and then left? And my question is, she sounds quite naive. She says she wasn't drinking because she's a Christian. So why was she at the party? Because it's my understanding that Sammy organised the party and the party was mostly for kids from Sammy's school. We've heard accounts where Kiely was an outsider because she didn't go to that school. So why would a younger kid from Forest Charter be going to a party for older kids from a different high school? Especially a younger kid with a Christian upbringing who wasn't going to drink at the party anyway. It's just an interesting story already.
And I don't like drinking. I only drink in Spain. Yeah, that's all the information I have, because I wasn't really active at the party. I literally sat by a tree with my friend at soccer practice in the morning, and we sat there like kind of judging people, I guess you could say, like people that we knew but they didn't know us, because we'd like stalk them on social media. We'd be like, oh my gosh, there's a swim team boy, oh my gosh, birthday dating. We did that kind of thing for like 20 minutes, and we're like, okay, let's leave. And then we went home and watched Netflix.
Actually, that bit does sound genuine. I can just imagine gawky teens who've heard about a party that an older sibling is going to. So they've gone to it and they've sat there for 20 minutes and watched the kids that are like the heroes. Oh, look, there's such and such. And they want to be part of the action, but they're not cool enough and they're too naive to really be part of it. So they sit on the periphery and watch. So does that mean that Kiely was standing directly in front of her and drinking? What does it mean?
Yeah, I know this is kind of a long audio recording. I would prefer it if my identity were kept a secret, but thank you.
So, I've left out all the comments that Olivia made when she put this original audio out because, well, I think I can form my own opinion without needing to listen to her opinion. But to me, this whole Jane Doe just seems like a big nothing burger. This is a younger child who, according to her account, went to the party for half an hour. She didn't circulate in the party, so she's not aware of anything that may have gone on at the party. She says she saw Kiely just before she left. So it sounds like she only saw Kiely very briefly before she left. And she's claiming that, well, Kiely was drinking a little bit. But what is a little bit? How long did she see Kiely for? Did Kiely walk past her holding a drink in her hand? Because I know when I was that age, I wasn't much of a drinker. I could nurse a drink for a bloody long time to make it look like I was drinking. Or if I was out at nightclubs with friends, I'd order a Coke Zero, or in those days it was just Diet Coke, and nurse that for ages so that it looked like I was drinking something that may have had alcohol in it. But when reality, I was quite often the designated driver, so I wasn't drinking. Or if I was at someone's party, then I would nurse a drink and make it last for a really long time so I could still drive myself home afterwards. So, really, we can't take anything from this kid in terms of if Kiely was drunk or intoxicated or drinking. There's not enough detail for starters to know precisely how this kid knows that it was alcohol that Kiely had. Maybe she had a solo cup and maybe she had something non-alcoholic in it. Trust me, I know how these things work. Like I said, I was quite often the designated driver. You find ways to avoid drinking alcohol so you can get your friends home safely without looking like the dag who's the only one at the party not drinking. But, at the same time, so what if Kiely was drinking? She shouldn't have been, but this kid has no idea of how much Kiely drank, because obviously in the short period of time that she saw her, she wouldn't have seen her consuming very much alcohol at all. The other thing she said about Kiely hanging out with stoners, I don't know. She never said whether she saw that herself or whether this was hearsay. But then she does turn around and say, I don't know if Kiely did that herself because I've never spoken to her. So it sounds like this is just a younger kid who had seen Kiely around at school, so she knew her to recognise her. But she's basically inserting herself just for the sake of inserting herself. There's nothing here that, to me, would make a difference either way in terms of us trying to figure out what happened the night of the party. We can say that perhaps Kiely was drinking that night. We could speculate that there's an inference that maybe Kiely did do drugs that night because she used to hang out with stoners. But then, even that is only an inference. Who are these stoners that she apparently hung out with? Were they at the party? Was Kiely at the party with them? There's more questions than answers with this Jane Doe. So, basically, in my opinion, I think we've done Jane Doe number 1. I don't think we really need to look at her again. Just my opinion. Others may have a different take on it. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think.
Keep it together.